gosh, welcome everybody. You feel that, Lewis? You feel that? That can't be faked.
You can touch it.
Welcome everybody to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert, and we are live, right there, live after the 8th installment of the January 6th committee hearings. I'm gonna get to all the juicy and disturbing details in just a moment, but first, I want to send get well wishes to our, thank the Lord and 81 million voters, current president, who this morning tested positive for COVID-19. Now, they're not sure how the president contracted COVID. I suspect he wished on a cursed monkey's paw for any positive news. Gotta be careful. I don't know why they let him have a cursed monkey's paw. Biden is 79 years old, but this afternoon he put out a video to say everything's fine, no one should be worried.
Hey folks, guess you heard this morning I tested positive for COVID. But I've been double vaccinated, double boosted.
Yeah, he's double vaccinated, double boosted, and just to be extra careful, he's double fisting. They say ice cream is one of the best prophylactics. He continued.
Symptoms are mild, and I really appreciate your inquiries and your concerns. But I'm doing well, I'm getting a lot of work done.
That's right, COVID isn't gonna slow Joe Biden down, because he can't get any slower. Here we go. Let's go. Come on, who's with me? Let's go. The big story tonight is, of course, the hearings. And tonight, the committee was laser-focused on the January 6th activities of former President JFKFC. Now, like President Biden, Chairman Benny Thompson recently tested positive for COVID, so he joined via Zoom, and luckily his bedroom wallpaper is all flag. Thompson kicked off the hearings with this bombshell.
As we've made clear throughout these hearings, our investigation goes forward. We continue to receive new information every day. We continue to hear from witnesses. We will reconvene in September to continue laying out our findings to the American people.
We're getting a sequel in September, and a fall hearing is perfect because the former president is pumpkin spice. Now, Illinois rep, delicious, absolutely. People, I love it. It's so delicious, warm. Illinois Representative Adam Kinzinger stated the plain and simple reason the former president sat on his butt during the riot.
The mob attacking the Capitol quickly caused the evacuation of both the House and the Senate. The count ground to an absolute halt and was ultimately delayed for hours. The mob was accomplishing President Trump's purpose, so of course he didn't intervene.
Yes. When a mob is doing exactly what you want, you only encourage them. Am I right? Greatest audience in the world? Now, thank you, citizens. Thank you. Please. Thank you, citizens. Kinzinger summed up the committee's thesis.
President Trump did not fail to act during the 187 minutes between leaving the ellipse and telling the mob to go home. He chose not to act.
He chose not to act. Same review he got for Home Alone 2. Wow. Virginia Representative. Wow. Virginia Representative Elaine Luria painted a vivid picture of where the former president was physically all that day.
Witnesses told us that on January 6th, President Trump sat in his usual spot, at the head of the table, facing a television hanging on the wall. We know from the employee that the TV was tuned to Fox News all afternoon. Here you can see Fox News on the TV showing coverage of the joint session that was airing that day at 1:25.
Nothing unusual there, just an elderly man parked in front of Fox News all day, confused about where the president is. Now, Or words to that effect. Or words to that effect. Luria also laid out what the former president didn't do in that time.
It's important to understand what he never did that day.
Oh, let me guess. Eat a salad. Tell Eric he was proud of him. Have a bowel movement without praying for God's mercy. I know. Win the election. Thank you very much. There was a whole list of security officials the president didn't reach out to that day.
We have confirmed in numerous interviews with senior law enforcement and military leaders, Vice President Pence's staff and D.C. government officials. None of them, not one, heard from President Trump that day. He did not call to issue orders. He did not call to offer assistance.
He did not call them from a box. He did not call while watching Fox. He did not help out Uncle Sam. His brain is made of eggs and ham. But, in his defense, it is possible he forgot the number for 911. They also played testimony of White House counsel Pat Cipollone, showing just how much he and others tried to get the president to act.
Did you continue, Mr. Cipollone, throughout the period of time up until 4/17, continue, you and others, to push for a stronger statement?
Yes.
Were you joined in that effort by Ivanka Trump?
Yes.
Eric Hershey?
Yes.
By Mark Meadows?
Yes.
Is the president guilty?
Yes.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Who's your favorite 70s prog rock group?
Yes.
Was every single person in the White House other than the president horrified by his criminal coup attempt?
Yes! 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 Yes!
I'll have what she said. Even though advisors wanted him to make a public address, they knew it would come with a couple of risks.
President Trump's advisors knew his state of mind at that moment, and they were worried about what he would say in unscripted comments.
Yes, they were worried he'd walk up to the podium in the press room and start jazz scatting. Scabba-dee-dip-bop-a-dip, hang Mike Pence. An unnamed security official testified just how real the threat was.
The members of the VP detail at this time were starting to fear for their own lives. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of very personal calls over the radio. So it was disturbing. I don't like talking about it, but there were calls to say goodbye to family members, so on and so forth.
Members of Pence's security detail were calling their families to say goodbye. That's how real the danger was. So anytime some Republican says this was just a normal tourist visit, remember that the guy at Disneyland dressed up as Goofy never has to call his wife to say, I may not make it home tonight. Kiss the kids. Now, during all this violence, the ex-president tweeted another attack on Mike Pence, and one rioter explained the effect on the other rioters.
I keep hearing that Mike Pence has screwed us. That's the word. I keep hearing reports that Mike Pence has screwed us.
Well, that's historic. No one has ever admitted Mike Pence screwed them. There's circumstantial evidence, but that's about it. Hearsay. Then the committee talked about Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. The man who famously raised a fist in solidarity with the mob before entering Congress that day. Turns out, once the mob broke into the building, he wasn't quite so enthusiastic to stand with them.
Later that day, Senator Hawley fled after those protesters he helped to rile up stormed the Capitol. See for yourself.
Yeah! Look at him go! Jim, can we play that back with the audio turned up? One witness described a stunning phone call between Kevin McCarthy and the former president.
I asked Kevin McCarthy, who's the Republican leader, about this, and he said he called Donald Trump. He finally got through to Donald Trump, and he said, "You have got to get on TV. You've got to get on Twitter. You've got to call these people off." You know what the president said to him? This is as it's happening. He said, "Well, Kevin, these aren't my people. You know, these are Antifa."
First of all, no. But second of all, okay, let's say they were Antifa. Wouldn't that make the president want to stop them more? You heard it here first. The former president doesn't want to stop Antifa, and he thinks they are very special people, and he loves them. While the president did not get in front of the camera for 3 hours on January 6th, the committee showed politicians of both parties calling on him to take action, including this guy.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
Oh, my God. Who was that vital young man? He's got pep in his step. He'd make a great president. Somebody nudge Joe Biden awake and tell him we found his successor. In his closing statement, Representative Kinzinger brought the whole thing home.
Whatever your politics, whatever you think about the outcome of the election, we as Americans must all agree on this. Donald Trump's conduct on January 6th was a supreme violation of his oath of office and a complete dereliction of his duty to our nation. It is a stain on our history. It is a dishonor to all those who have sacrificed and died in service of our democracy.
Yes, he... Well said. Yes, he is a stain on our history. And thanks to these hearings, we know that stain is ketchup. In her closing statement, Congresswoman Luria quoted our 16th president.
I was not as prescient as Abraham Lincoln, who 23 years before the Civil War said, "If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and its finisher." Donald Trump was the author, and we, the people, for ourselves and our posterity, should not let Donald Trump be the finisher.
It's true. We cannot let Donald Trump finish. That's how we got Eric and Don Jr. It's too risky. So, all in all, it was a long night, almost 3 hours, but it wasn't nearly as long as the 187 minutes where the former president did nothing to stop an ongoing insurrection that he created and then watched it all in glee as it played out on TV. Let's just hope some of his followers were watching this tonight. We got a great show for you tonight. Later on, I'll be talking to music legend Jack White, but when we come back, I'll talk about tonight's hearings with MSNBC's Chris Hayes. Stick around, everybody.